After that wreck on the backstretch, John Andretti and Johnny Benson have stayed in the race.
Now, the turn 2 has become the trouble spot. Obviously, we've seen that a number of times. Watch the 31 down under the 88. And I believe he hurts this 88 car when he puts it up. 31 gets loose like we saw early. Doesn't give him a lot of room. I don't think he got into it, though. It looked like from earlier that they possibly did, but he lost a lot of ground.
One inside, 10-4, I see it.
Turn 2 gets really slick over there. As you later in the day it gets, just lose grip.
Dale Jarrett now 13th. Has been up as high as 6th. But Darrell, if you get sent way up in that loose stuff, at this stage in the race, do your tires get a lot of junk on them and you lose grip for a lap or two?
Yeah, there's so much sand and dirt and rubber up there that you'll sometimes even think you got a flat tire. It takes several laps for you to get your confidence back.
You know, guys, as I watch a 22 car, Ward Burton won the Daytona 500. I talked to Bill Davis Friday morning, and he said, Larry, you know, we never thought winning the Daytona 500 would make us so overconfident. He said, what we've had to do after the last 2 weeks at Rockingham, Las Vegas, is regroup and realize we can't win every race. We just need to be as consistent as we can, and the rest will fall into place.
Well, falling into place right now.
I tell you just set yourself up for big disappointment. You win one race. Here we go. Get down there, Tony. Dig. Here he comes. He's down underneath him. But boy, I tell you, you lose so much speed when you come off the corner and can't make the pass.
I believe he'll do it going down into turn 1, though. I think Ward
will give. I think he'll let him go to some degree because I think Ward knows he's got 4 tires. He just thinks that he better follow him. He'd be better off.
And that sets a new record for the number of lead changes in this race at 34.
Well, Ward's all over the back of him, though. I tell you, that old Dodge got some ponies under the hood. He ain't done yet. He's going to fight back.
Still out there.
Gonna make a race out of it. Larry, would you have thought 2 tires was able to pull that off?
I never would have thought, but if we talked earlier, Ward Burton, he seems to be the type of driver that can really handle 2 right side tires only.
And we saw Dale Jr., he's right where he was last year in this race, right up there fighting for the lead with about 10 or 12 to go. He had a flat tire. Flat tires have plagued him a lot this year. We need to keep an eye on him.
That Budweiser car, he got a runoff turn 2 down the bottom of the racetrack. Ward Burton going to fight back on the top side, keep that momentum going.
Oh,
whoa,
Junior.
Boys, whoa.
Oh, man, they touched. Ward did not want to give up that spot.
Just run out of racetrack right there.
Had to let him in or wreck. All right, Junior. You don't have to worry about fuel. You don't have to worry about anything. Just go on up there and take the lead.
The GM cars thus far only one top 5 this season, and right now they're running 1st, 2nd, and 4th. "19 laps to go here in Atlanta, but tonight on Fox, strap in from start to finish with all new episodes of your Sunday favorites: Futurama, King of the Hill, The Simpsons, Malcolm in the Middle, and The X-Files. And right after Malcolm, don't miss the world premiere of the never-before-seen trailer for Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Start your engines tonight at 7, 6 Central, right here on Fox.
Kind of quiet in the front, guys, but woohoo! Meanwhile, back here at the ranch, sitting on the front porch swinging with brands, I'm telling you, we got some action. 24 car, 40 car, 31 car, they're all right in there in a wad.
Somebody told these boys there's less than 20 laps to go.
Got anything left, you better use it. 24 is doing it.
Yeah, Gordon's worked the low side really well and moved up through this pack. Remember, he took on 4 fresh tires right at the end of this caution period.
I think it's paying off for him because it's the best he's been all day, by all means.
And imagine that, the end of the race, Jeff Gordon shows up.
Yeah, if you're going to pick a time to be good, now is the time.
He needs to start heating those flames up a little earlier.
Ward Burton has surrendered 3rd to Jimmy Johnson, the rookie.
And you got to give a good call to Rusty Wallace, guys. Look at here, he's up in 6th place, right there behind his old teammate.
Started in provisional land, 38 for the 3rd time this year.
I believe that's a 2-tire stop there at the end. I was going to mention that glare going down into turn 1 there. Now that's on the left-hand side of the windshield. You can see over here on the right or on the left side of where the driver looks out. That's the right side of the windshield. I'll get right here in a minute. That's because he got tear-offs on the left side for the driver to be able to see out of. But if he didn't, see what a mess he'd be in. I get all excited when I get down in them cars and start looking out the window.
You'll see it here going into turn 1.
Watch this. See, you can't see a thing right there for a minute. Now, he's not quite that bad off over there on the left side because they got those tear-offs.
And just remember, that's at almost 190 miles an hour, that glare.
Yeah, well, most of us just drive by feel. Just feel her down in there.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., 0.3 of a second behind Tony Stewart. That's about, 6 or 7 car lengths. Dick Berggren.
And Mike, the setup that they put underneath that number 8 car this morning was a setup designed specifically to avoid the car getting tight late in the race. They got tight here in the spring. They got tight here in the fall last year. The adjustments that they have made on pit stops were all to avoid getting tight. Guess what? Car's getting tight.
The best laid plans.
I don't think there's any way to stop that, Matt.
Well, DW, before that restart, before Tony Stewart retook the lead, he'd already led 120 laps. Now, if you go back and look at his history, that's more than he's led in the first 10 races of his first 3 seasons, when he only led a total of 98 laps. They felt like Atlanta could have been his Achilles heel, so they came here and tested last fall. In fact, Scott Deal, the car chief, told me they made fuel runs just seeing what the car would do, doing a mock race so that they could try to adjust and get that car in, because they felt like they just couldn't close the deal. And today, Tony Stewart might just close the deal and win his first ever 500-mile race in his career.
Yeah, he's inching away ever so slightly from Dale Jr.
Meanwhile, we had teammates battling for 5th. Rusty Wallace in the 2 goes by teammate Ryan Newman in that 12 car. That was the 5th position.
Tony Stewart looking for his first win on a super speedway, a track a mile or larger, since November of 2000 at Homestead. More than a year.
Boy, Matt Kenseth is fighting his way back in it. Such a bad pit stop. Lost all that track position, but he's inching his way back up toward the top 5. Sitting there right behind Rusty Wallace.
6th place. And the other hometown hero, besides Bill Elliott, Buckshot Jones, who's from Georgia, fought himself back onto the lead lap. He's in the top 15.
Got a lap down, and what he did, he took advantage of having 4 fresh tires versus cars that had 2 right side tires, got his lap back, and now he's up here, as you say, in the 13th position.
You know what? Of course, Ward only took 2 tires as well, so looks like I started to say that maybe Rusty took 4, but I don't see how he could have, Larry, and been up as 4 in the lineup as he was when he came in the pits.
Kenseth coming underneath Ward Burton. 10 laps to go.
There's 4 tires down underneath those guys.
Down at the bottom digging.
Right.
10 laps to go. It's been 4 races in Atlanta since the driver who was leading with 10 laps to go ended up winning the race.
Well, there's something wrong right now because these guys ought to be running side by side coming down here to take the checkered flag. we got to get them tightened up. I hadn't been to a race here lately that they didn't come across here with 2 or 3 wide, seeing who won with a photo finish.
Tony Stewart's running about as high as he has been all day long, keeping that momentum, running even high late on the exit of turn 2.
Boy, that is so tedious. I mean, here it is, 10 to go. You got to keep the speed up, got to drive hard. Junior's looking down underneath. Now, he decided he's going to try to drop down, and he chopped a big bunch of that lead away by going low that time.
It was 0.6 of a second. Now it is 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, he made a huge run off of turn 4 there, down low.
Yeah, that last lap, Junior was 0.2 quicker than Tony Stewart that time.
Maybe he's sitting there, maybe he's going to sneak up on him.
4th place.
Come on, baby.
Kenseth trying Rusty Wallace.
There's no question Kenseth's got by 4 and away the fastest car, but he just lost all that time in the pits. And he'll be really disappointed.
Right now he's 4 3/4 seconds behind the leader. And the longer he runs beside Rusty Wallace, that's going to get even bigger.
I think the guy that's probably got his work cut out for him, I don't think Dale Jr.'s done with Tony Stewart yet. I think Dale Jr. is just sitting there. I think Jr. knows he can drop that thing down.
Work on for me, work on.
Down on that white line.
Craven around the 22 of Ward Burton. That's 6th place.
Leaders are playing. Tony and Dale Jr. playing cat and mouse right now. One time one's high, one time one's low. They're both searching, trying to be sure that they can protect the lead.
And it's back up to 0.6 of a second.
Tony dropped down in 3 and 4 that time like Dale Jr. did the time before. Spotter is probably telling him what's going on right behind him.
Car owner Joe Gibbs pacing.
He definitely had the best car at Las Vegas last week and just didn't prevail after that last pit stop. Got back there in traffic. All those cars were fresh tires. Only could get back to 5th.
24 car slowing down, guys. He just started slowing down, going down the back.
Jeff Gordon. About to be passed by Jeremy Mayfield.
He just started slowing, going down the back. He dropped down the inside. I'm sure it's a cylinder.
Now, it's not for position. Mayfield's a lap down. But Gordon falls to 11. 16 cars are on the lead lap with 5 to go. And Tony Stewart holding that margin, 0.6 of a second. Trouble, turn 2. One car around, down on the apron.
Should not be a caution. Should not be a caution.
It's Jerry Nadeau.
The car's out of the way. There's nothing wrong.
We stay green. We stay green.
Should stay green. He spun it around and he kept on going.
There are your young guns, Darrell. First, second, third, fourth.
Like I said, late 29 to early 30s. You go figure it out. I never could.
That's prime time, huh?
That's when they're supposed to be at their best. Watch
Here
this.
is Jerry Nadeau's spin.
He just was up there. And boy, he almost got right into Joe Nemechek in the 26 car. Looked like he was just so high. Darrell, he got up there in the stuff where you don't run, probably gets on your tires and just comes around.
Picked up some stuff on his tires, Matt.
And Matt, what happened to Jeff Gordon?
Well, Mike, the problem for Jeff Gordon, he came on the radio about 3 laps ago and said, guys, it's starting to lay down. The motor's starting to go bad.
3 laps to go. He's going to try to ride it out as he falls to the tail end of the lead lap.
I think he'll be okay with only 3 to go. As far as finishing goes, we got a car low. Who's that? Oh, that's Nadeau. He's trying to stay down out of the way.
Yep. He's just trying to make circles right now.
Man, look down there and saw dust flying.
Last time by, 2 to go. Tony Stewart, Dale Earnhardt Jr., their lap times was almost identical. Junior maybe just a little bit quicker.
Tony Stewart trying to score the 6th win in the last dozen races here for Joe Gibbs Racing.
You know, he had a great car at Daytona and didn't get to show it. He blew up right on the start of the race. Dominated down in Las Vegas. And here he sits looking like he's going to win this race today. Although I got to tell you, I wouldn't. Dale Jr. is going to dive that thing to the bottom down here with maybe 1 or 2 to go and see if he can't close that gap.
This is it. Final lap. Turn 4. Stewart, the high line. Junior, the low line is coming.
Here he comes.
He cuts the gap in half. But Tony Stewart scores his first super speedway win in over a year.
Pretty dominant little performance there, Larry.
Yes, it was. Dale Earnhardt Jr. for second. But how about that man that finishes 3rd, Jimmy Johnson, in only his 7th Winston Cup start?
It was a great run for him today. And Chad, he didn't fall out of the seat, bud. He stayed up on that wheel for you.
Matt Kenseth from last on the restart to 4th. Ricky Craven.
That shows you how fast that Kenseth was. My
Yes.
goodness, he restarted in about 17th or 18th place. Well, we didn't have a photo finish, but it's pretty exciting.
Had an exciting race.
I had a great race.
Had a record number of lead changes. A team prayer at Joe Gibbs Racing, and let the celebration begin. Rusty Wallace 6th, Ward Burton, Mark Martin from Provisional Land, 2 of them. Sterling Marlin, the point leader, and rookie Ryan Newman, the outside pole sitter.
Who came in here 2nd in points, Ryan Newman.
Kurt Busch held on for 11th. Good run for Buckshot Jones, 12th. Jarrett, Labonte, Petty, veterans. Jeff Gordon fading at the finish. Was the last car on the lead lap. Tony Stewart lights him up.
I like Tony Stewart.